we had the Europa League the year before, and we'd we done like I don't know, maybe we were a surprise package. It was new for everybody, so the adrenaline and every game, London Stadium. I remember against Seville was crazy atmosphere. One of the best, to be fair. Um, and going away to European countries, and again, people think it's a glamorous life, but they're like, "How was it?" And I was like, well, "I got on a plane, got on a coach, got to the hotel, coach of the game, coach back, airport, go." So you don't really get to see a lot of the city,
Mm.
but you get to, you're very fortunate to get to experience, the stadiums and get to develop an understanding of how other teams play in different countries. So yeah, we got to semi-finals. We lost to Frankfurt, and we're absolutely gutted. But then to bounce back from that and then compete again in the Europa Conference League and the way we did it as well, it was, I don't know, something special about it. And yeah, the Prague was, we were there for a few days. So we were probably there for maybe three days in total. So a little bit earlier than the other European matches. But I don't know, it was just a great buzz around the place. Like I probably went to more level of detail into every individual, and anything I could get about where they grew up, what language they spoke, everything. We just try and do as much detail as we could to try and get that across. And we try different things like Charlie put a motivational together, which was fantastic. We have family messages as well, which really hit home sort of how hard the boys have worked to be able to get there. And then, yeah, when it got to, I don't really remember much about the game. Not because I drank a lot after, but I only really remember towards maybe when the handball was given for the penalty, and then like from then onwards, really, because there wasn't a lot in the game. It wasn't a great game. Doesn't matter now if you haven't watched it. They don't need to West Ham won it. So, and it was like, okay, right, we're probably preparing for extra time now, and then obviously Jared goes in and scores, and you just sort of half lost my mind at that point. And I suppose as an analyst, you get to celebrate with your other analysts and the coach and stuff there, and then everyone's downstairs celebrating on the pitch and stuff like that. And you get to do that after, which was lovely. And I was fortunate. My dad was there, my wife, and my little boy as well. So they got to celebrate with us. So it was a crazy few days, unbelievable experience, and go back home and do the parade straight away. The parade was, I couldn't believe how many fans were there that turned up, considering how many were in Prague. So then go and do the parade, and then it's off season.
Yeah.
But this was like sort of June the 9th, maybe June the 10th. So we only had sort of 3 weeks, and then we were back in anyway. So yeah, it was just like a bit of a calm down straight away, from going from that high for 3-4 days, and then then obviously it's a chance to recharge and go again. It was a crazy time, amazing time, and I think maybe in 10-15 years, I look back, it'll be hopefully West Ham will move on to win more European trophies, or even a Premier League potentially, FA Cup run. Fingers crossed, because there's a lot of good people that still work there. And in terms of lows, I don't know. I've never really seen him anything as low as there's been low results, but ultimately there's always the next game.
Yeah.
Obviously low this year in terms of the relegation, but I don't know. The culture didn't make it seem like a relegation.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't a down environment at all. It was like, okay, we're learning every week. And I learned so much from Kieran and his team about how to speak to people, how to be able to communicate effectively, and in terms of a defeat, how do you then react to that and build again, and get the team up to for the next game. And lows. There's lows in terms of things that have happened, or goals that go in last minute. But for me, I'd always try and be as level as I could. So not too high when I win, not too low when we lose. Just try and keep a happy medium, because I think as an analyst as well, is that it's such an emotional game.
Yeah,
and when you're down on the pitch and the sideline, the referee and everything you're getting heavily involved in, we were always away from it, and I quite like that, because it just gave you you got the perspective of everything. You weren't too heavily influenced. So sometimes players would come in, oh, that was definitely a penalty. I'm like, no, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? I was like, well,
Yeah.
I'm just taking my point of view as I don't believe it was. And I'd always try and do that after the game as well, is that I don't want to be like, ah, so low. And it is hard because, and my wife would say that I did take it home with me quite a lot. But you have to try and not take it home with you too much, because there is more to life in football. Your family is, for me anyways, is so important, and especially when you have children, how that does change, and you don't want to be moping around for 2 3 days or for 24 hours when that's the only time you've got with your children and your partner. So yeah, I always try and be as level as I could, given how the game went. But ultimately, you are doing all the work to try and win on the weekend or win that
Yeah.
game. So it does obviously have an impact on you. But yeah, I always try and stay as level-headed as you can and not let it influence you too much.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the European win must have been so good, especially like you said, your family was there as well to celebrate, and it
Mhm.
kind of makes all the really long weeks and late nights worthwhile when you can celebrate. You don't get that in any other job, do you? When you can have that amount of
No,
elation going to work. So it's, yeah, it's really, really kind of mind blowing, really. So